Today, we're heading deep into the heart of South India to uncover the incredible story of a civilization that rose to unbelievable heights, only to practically vanish from the world stage. This is the story of the lost empire of Vijayanagara.
I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. It's the question that just hangs in the air over the stunning ruins of Hampi. And it's the big mystery we're going to try and unravel today. What you're looking at was once a massive, thriving metropolis, a true beacon of power. So how on earth did it become this ghost of its former self?
You know, before it was ruins, Vijayanagara was anything but. Its name literally means the city of victory. And for more than 300 years, boy, did it live up to that name. It didn't just exist, it shaped the destiny of the entire region.
But that kind of victory, it doesn't just happen. Great empires are almost never born into times of peace, right? And Vijayanagara's story is no different. It begins in a period of intense conflict. This was a kingdom forged in total chaos, born out of pure necessity.
So, let's set the scene. It's the 14th century, and South India is in turmoil. The powerful Delhi Sultanate is constantly pushing south, and under all that pressure from repeated invasions, the old southern kingdoms, well, they start to crumble. This created a huge power vacuum. And right in the middle of all that chaos, in the year 1336, a brand new Hindu kingdom rises up to fill the void.
So who was behind this? At the very heart of this new beginning were two brothers, Harihara and Bukka. With some guidance from a wise sage named Vijayanagara, they laid the foundation for an empire that would become this incredible bastion against the invasions from the north.
And their mission was crystal clear. See, Vijayanagara wasn't just about grabbing land or power. It was about preservation. They really saw themselves as the guardians of southern Hindu traditions, the protectors of ancient temples, and the keepers of these vital trade routes that were, the lifeblood of the whole region.
So after establishing itself as this shield for the South, the empire didn't just survive. Oh no, it absolutely thrived. It launched into this spectacular golden age, an era of splendor that's kind of hard to even wrap your head around. The empire's absolute peak really arrived with the Tuluva dynasty. It was under their rule that Vijayanagara just transformed into this world-renowned center of immense wealth, absolutely breathtaking art, and some seriously formidable military might.
And when you talk about this era, there's one name that stands head and shoulders above everyone else: Krishnadevaraya. He only reigned for about 20 years, but his impact was so massive that he's still remembered as the greatest ruler of the empire, the living, breathing embodiment of its golden age.
So, what made this guy so great? Well, he was the whole package. Militarily, a certified genius who expanded the empire to its absolute largest size. As an administrator, he perfected this thing called the Naga system, which basically empowered local governors to rule this huge, diverse territory really effectively. And culturally, he was a true patron of the arts, supporting a famous court of Ashtadigajas, or 8 great poets, and he even wrote a literary masterpiece himself. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This isn't some local legend. When a Portuguese traveler named Domingo Paes visited during Krishnadevaraya's reign, he was just stunned. He wrote that the city was bigger and richer than most European capitals at the time, a true global metropolis just bursting with life.
So where did all this mind-boggling wealth come from? Well, it was all built on a super sophisticated economy. They had advanced irrigation that created tons of extra food, and their ports became these bustling hubs for global trade. They were exporting spices and textiles and importing strategic goods. And get this, a key import was powerful war horses from Arabia and Persia, which gave their cavalry a huge advantage in battle.
But as history teaches us over and over again, golden ages just don't last forever. The incredible meteoric rise of Vijayanagara was, unfortunately, matched by an equally dramatic and tragic fall. The stage was being set for a clash of titans. After Krishnadevaraya died, a string of weaker rulers and a lot of internal squabbling left the empire vulnerable, and the rival Deccan sultans, who had been resentful of Vijayanagara's power for a long time, they saw their chance. They did something they'd never done before. They formed a united alliance. They put their own differences aside for one single goal: to destroy the City of Victory.
And it all comes down to this one year, 1565, a single date that would seal the fate of this magnificent empire forever.
Everything, all the history, all the power, all the wealth, it all came to a head in one single, catastrophic fight, the Battle of Talikota. This is where the combined forces of the sultanates finally faced the army of Vijayanagara.
And the result? It was a complete and utter disaster for Vijayanagara. The victorious armies swarmed the capital city, and for months they just looted, smashed, and burned it to the ground. The city of victory was systematically wiped out, its glory gone forever.
But even though the city fell and the empire eventually crumbled into dust, the story doesn't really end there. Today, the legacy of Vijayanagara is still alive, whispering its incredible tales through these silent, haunting ruins.
And what a legacy it is. You can still see it in architectural wonders like the stone chariot, which was carved from a single piece of rock. You can hear it in the musical pillars of the Vitala temple, which actually ring with different musical notes when you tap them. And beyond the stone, its real legacy was protecting South Indian traditions for centuries and building trade routes that lasted long after the empire was gone.
So yeah, the physical empire of Vijayanagara is gone, but its ruins still pull in thousands of people, its stories are still being told, and its art still inspires us. It kind of leaves you with one last thing to think about, right? Empires fall and cities turn to dust, but what is it? What's that special something that makes a story, a legacy, truly immortal?